thank you for joining us, Thomas. So what's the answer? Is it an evolution or a revolution?
I think it depends on where you're sitting. I think from a global perspective, they see branches, the significance of a branch diminishing, where they try and force their, I won't say force their customers, but move their customers onto more mobile and online channels. Where from a South African perspective, branch banking is still set to be, it'll remain here. I think just the model will change in terms of your distribution.
So explain that. Obviously a lot more digital, and we do know a lot of people may not even have computers, but they have mobile phones.
No, they do. So I think in terms of your traditional branch, I mean, which used to be the main distributor of products, I think the branch will remain, but as I've said, the models will change. So your product that you actually receive from a branch may be very different.
Explain it. So we're not correct to say that the branches will be gone by 2020?
No, not at all. The branch will still be there.
So how will they change?
Well, I think your look and feel will change. I think when you walk into a branch, potentially you may have someone with a pad that meets you at the door and says, "May I help you?" And it will take you through a process where you can automatically get an account and then walk out again. It'll be potentially as simple as that.
Okay, so it becomes your access to technology or to online banking, basically.
Yes, I think, I mean, obviously it'll be a start of the process. I think in terms of various distribution channels, I think online and mobile are one of those channels that the banks will look at in terms of innovation.
You've looked at urbanization, but a huge problem in South Africa still being cited is the unbanked, the large population of rural people who are out of touch, who aren't even near branches. Are we seeing any change in approach to those people?
Well, I think if you talk about urbanization, so what we're saying is that you could potentially have 1.8 billion people move into the cities over the next 10 years. So the question is, from a banking perspective, that's great. You've now got potentially a whole lot of new customers. The question is, around our survey, what it highlights is that your customer preference and your customers' needs need to be identified. And that's what the banks need to do. And in doing that, they can obviously reach their customers in a lot quicker and a better efficient way.
So let's come to that, but what about those that are still left out in rural areas?
No, well, I think it's your traditional way of banking will change. I think you can still bank using your mobile phone. I think the feel and touch of being able to see your money or not is what you need to educate people. But I think your technologies will change and people will become accustomed to potentially seeing your mobile and requesting a statement on your mobile, which will then show you have your money in your bank still.
I heard a heartbreaking story recently because we have M-Pesa, our banks have been lauded for being very innovative. But when it comes to African connections, and this was a story of a man who wanted to send money to Malawi. So he had to send it through a taxi driver. And I think the cut was quite huge. So maybe you send 10,000, you lose 2,000. And that's money that you don't have to lose. Is this something that's being looked at, the connections across banks across Africa?
I think it's around trust. I think there are the processes you can get your money from A to B, but I think it's still a trust of not knowing where it's going on the other side, and someone has to go there. And I think in some cases someone has to travel from the village to the town to obviously draw the money from the service provider. And I think people still feel more comfortable knowing that their cash is going from A to B. And I think that comes with education. It'll come with time and trust, and we'll get there. And
finally, online is vulnerable. If you look at this heartbleed bug that people are talking about that has made hundreds of thousands of sites apparently vulnerable, are we getting to that place where people can really trust banks to go online using their mobiles wherever they are?
No, I think that'll come with time. I think from a security aspect, in terms of all the laws, the regulators, no, I think it will come over time to ensure that wherever your money is, it'll be safe, plus your information.
All right, thank you for bringing us insight into that report. That was Thomas Magill from PwC.